सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Said asanga sastrena dridena chitva. Asanga is renunciation or vairagya, detachment. Let the detachment be strong. That's the crux there. We also get detached at times. See, but there's no strength in the detachment. We're detached for some period. We say, yes, I don't want it. I don't require it. I don't need this. That happens for whatever reason. Whether it is for the right reason or wrong reason, whether it is sensible thing to do, practical, impractical, all those things apart. Does it stay with you? You see, with so much of rift and fight and so much of agitation in the relationship, the person says, I'm going for a divorce. Which means when you're getting rid of something which is giving you pain, you should feel what? Relieved. But nobody goes back with joy. You see, if you imagine there are 100 cases of divorces happening, most of them, you see, okay, they will say that after 10 years, 15 years, they will say, I'm very happy. That's not my point. Because after 10 years, you say your school time was also very good. That's memory loss. See, that wasn't the case when you are actually going to school. When you are alumni, when you go to school, it looks very interesting. Yeah, school time was, our time during school days was fantastic. Everyone says that. But that's your memory loss, not actually when you are studying. When you are there, is there any joy? There's no joy. Now we will say that similarly, a person says, after 10 years, a person says, even then there are people who I know, after 10, 15 years of divorce also, they keep complaining about it. You got out of this because it was giving pain, right? Now, getting out of this gives you another type of pain, means you are choosing between pain A, pain B. Headache or toothache. Which one you want? I don't want headache, but toothache will come. What is the point? That's why he says your renunciation should be how? Should have that strength in that. There has to be strength in renunciation. You also give up certain things at times. You say, I don't need this. I don't require this for whatever. Does it stay with you? Then that goal should be sought, he said. After that, you start seeking the higher. Without this Dhrida Chitta, if you seek the higher, there's no meaning to it. It's just a joke. I want to see God. It's just a joke. There's no real meaning to it. He says, seek that. Then that goal should be sought. You seek that. How you have to seek gives the steps. Okay, you have sought that. then you achieve. No? When you achieve, how do you know that you are progressing? How do you know that you have achieved? When you travel, we keep seeing the boats. When you start from Bangalore to Chennai, the board will say 325 kilometers. Chennai, it will show. You drive for 1 hour. Now the signboard should say what?
Less
Chennai?
travel distance.
At least, 300 kilometers. Right? Whoever drives, at least 300 kilometers it should show. Imagine it is showing 450 kilometers. Chennai, 450 kilometers. Now, something wrong, no? Isn't it? Those indications has to be showing the signs of you reaching Chennai. Similarly, in the spiritual path, how do you know that you are progressing? This is standard in the Shastras. Now, Krishna follows that to the T. Never misses that. Never loses that idea. Anytime he speaks about the goal, two things you will find. He will never miss speaking about the preparation. He will never miss the indication. How do you know you are progressing? You can't have self-proclamation. Oh, my life has changed a lot after your class. Certificate should be given by who? University should give certificate or you give certificate to yourself? The teacher should say you have changed. You can't claim, my life has changed a lot. Because for wrong reasons you may choose. Right? Many times we do the right thing for wrong reasons. What you are doing is correct, but then you are doing it for wrong reason. Therefore, even the right becomes wrong. So you should always check whether are you doing it for what reason. So if you claim that you are progressing, on what basis you are going to claim you are progressing? What is a test? And who should give the test? Who should say this is the parameters? You fix your own parameters or the teacher fixes the parameters? The scriptures fixes the parameters here. You can't fix your own parameters because our parameters will be what? Before I was not getting any contracts. Now I started attending your class, I'm getting all contracts. Therefore what? Many of you think, in spiritual path, if you come into, you will progress, materially. You will hit success. If you hit success after coming to Vedanta class, beware. You are losing both. This I can afford to tell you people now, after 25 years. The first class, if I say now, nobody will come. If you get success instantly, even though Krishna is the one who says, Kshipram hi manushe loke, he says. Siddhir bhavati karmaja, he says. In this manusha loka, Kshipram, he says. It's easy to get success in this world. You don't require Shastra for that. Actually speaking, you don't require Vedanta for that. You claim that I am progressing spiritual. Your spiritual evolution should not be measured based on the worldly success of yours. Reduction of stress. Earlier I used to get angry. Now I am not getting angry. Therefore I have grown better. Who decides? That doesn't mean now I am getting more angry. Earlier I was getting less anger. Now after Vedanta class I have become more anger. Even that cannot be the reference point. Then what is it that you're going to take as a reference point? That's what we see in verse 5, which is just a recap of what he has already stated in chapter 13. He gave that, 20 qualities of a jnani. That's the standard procedure here. Wherever they wanted to indicate the progress of yours, they'll always start giving the person who has already attained how he lives, what he does. So by seeing him, if he is going to be like that, we can figure out from ourselves as to, okay, where are we? How close are we to that man, that person? You can't say man now. Why women do, don't I? So suddenly, I started hearing this, batter. This, all this cricket commentators, started saying, batter, batter. I say, batter, for me comes as, dosa. This is what I am getting. This fellow is saying batter, batter. I say, who is that batter? I say, why is he talking about batter now? Oh, you don't know Ishwaran. You're not supposed to use batsman. Because women also play cricket, no? Then say bat women, no. When you're commenting women's cricket, say bat women. No, bat woman doesn't look nice. Batsman looks nice. Was there any issue actually with the word batsman? The man who is batting is called a batsman. Woman who is batting. So when I'm hearing batter, I'm not able to understand whether it's a man who is playing or a woman who is playing. I don't know. Here, nowadays, we cannot speak anything now. We can't tell name also nowadays, You tell name of a person also, oh, you are referring to that group of people, huh? So we should not use. So nowadays, what we should do? In a city, B got married to C, and then C had a child, and the neighbor was Z. Like that, we have to speak. Only then, safe. Cannot talk now, actually. At least Bangalore slightly better, I think. YouTube porda. So I don't know to whom to speak now. Should I speak to you people or should I speak to the YouTube fellow who is listening to me? Who I'll have no clue who that fellow is. To whom to teach, I don't know. The teaching can be done only to a person who is there. Right? How can you teach a person who is not there? It's weird now. A man of perfection. By giving the description of what is perfection, we can understand how close we are to it or how far we are from that. That's why immediately he comes to this, verse 5. Suddenly we see, coming to something, high flown, philosophy. Suddenly he drops, as it were, because what is familiar comes again in verse 5. So samsara is explained, what is samsara, and then he has said how to deal with that samsara. Then immediately he comes to tell us what will happen if you deal the way he recommends. By knowing that, we can do a checkup. So he's just showing a mirror now, verse number 5. I think I've done up to 4. Do 5 now. Verse 5.
Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha vandhe vimukta sukha dukkha sangaihi gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tat.
निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा
अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसङ्गैः गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदमव्ययम् तत्
freed from pride and delusion, evils of attachment conquered, ever rooted in self, desires having completely gone, well liberated from pairs of opposites like joy and sorrow, the undeluded reach that eternal good. 5 qualifications he gives, 5 tests. Now you have to see, you should pass in all the tests. Okay. Like they say, in CA they have, I think even now they have the cutoff, not cutoff, we have average or something they call it. You should get, 4 papers will be there. You should get 200 total. But in any given paper, you should score more than 50. You can't say, in one paper I scored 40. In another paper, I scored 60. So 40, 60, 50, 50, 200, no, pass. They'll say no. Fail. Hey, pass, no, all that. For any given paper, pass mark is what? 35. I scored 40, man, which means I pass, actually speaking. But then they say, no, not allowed. Weird fellows. Beautiful system, I say, actually. Aggregate. Say. Aggregate should be there. In any given paper, you should. Similarly, in any given this, you should score at least 50%. Only then. Otherwise, you are not moving at all. So take all that. So say, first says, freed from pride and delusion. Mana and nirmana. Mana means pride. And moha, delusion. From where do you get pride? What is the source of pride? You feel proud. When do you feel proud? Huh? Achievement. When do you feel proud?
When we outperform something better than others.
Better than others, exactly. See, you can feel that pride not by just achieving something. I should have achieved which was not done by anyone else. You see, imagine everybody does. What is the big deal about it? If everyone had to get it, where, what is interesting in that? When I do something, or when I have something, when I get something, when I acquire something which is not there with others. Something what I have is not there with others. I can feel pride only about that aspect. See. Now he says this undeluded person, the beautiful word he uses. Even in English, we don't get that actually. Nirmana moha means he is not having pride, mana, or moha. He has already stated moha there. Later in the same verse, he refers to this person as amudaha. undiluted. Muda, diluted. One way of saying. Moha is also diluted. Moha delusion is different. Muda delusion is different. That's why this Sanskrit pada is much better to use. We can't get an equal word. For amuda, muda means what? Fools. Not a fool. Like a translation would look nice. But that's what Krishna says. No, who is this? About whom he is talking? He is talking about a person who is amuda. Right? But the very unfortunate thing is who is listening to is Pramuda. Unfortunate. Muda Gudal. PhD in Mudatvam is called Pramudas. He is talking about Amuda to Pramuda. And now, what to do now? That's the tragedy of Krishna. Right. Nirmana Moha. There is no delusion. Delusion there is different. That's what I'm coming to. See, there he is referring to Moha. The word is Moha. Collectively, he is referring to Muda, Amuda. So the one who is not having that pride, from where we are getting it, very, very basic one. Very basic in the sense, the foundational idea of pride is considering that I am the body. That's called pride. See, I am this body. From there, the whole thing starts. Then it gets added on. Adding on is having this body. With this, I get something which is not there with others. There, my pride gets more and more consolidated, more and more solidified. So the essential one is this, and then all these things gets added to it. And all of us want to feel that pride. Why? Only that pride things makes us stand out. What makes me different from the rest? And in every group, you will find wherever we go, everyone's attempt is to ensure that they are different from others. So, even if you go, they will keep asking, what is your USP? Someone was asking, what is your USP? What's your unique selling point? What's your unique selling point? What's your unique selling point? I say, mathematics, like, unique selling point. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4 only. Now, suddenly you can't say, no. You should have something unique to say that. So, my unique selling point is what? In my mathematics, 2 plus 2 is 17. The 17 is not auspicious. 18, auspicious number. Any meaning in that? See, when you are presenting facts, right? What unique selling point you can have there? This is a fact. Only this human species have this issue. Pride. Other species don't have this pride. They don't carry this notion. I am. Because of what? Because I want to feel I am different from the rest. What is going to make me differentiate from the rest? I don't want to be lost in the crowd. That's why everyone wants their child to be first rank. Any competition you go, you should get gold medal. Every time Tendulkar comes to bat, he should score a century. How is it possible? If that is the case, then Muralidharan will say what? In 10 balls, match is over. Every ball wicket, no. What will happen? T20 kuda kadiyadu. 20 overs are too much. Why do you have to play 120 balls? I said 10 balls, match over. Is it possible? Hmm? Every ball, you should. You see, they have this belief, Why do you want to feel that? From where that comes? He says, the person who is not having that problem is pride. There's no pride for it. Why? He doesn't want to feel, I am unique. I am unique. Long before, fantastic advice was given to me. One a person who used to come to teach in the temples. He used to give this Bhagavatam lectures. So I used to attend those lectures. I was the only one, the lone Smartha. Rest are all Vaishnava. Means you. Number, there's only one there. So everyone used to look at me, and I'm the only, teenage, not even teenage, early teens. I must have been eighth or ninth, ninth, not teenage then. Middle teen, There's only one there. So most of the time, this man, when he is speaking, he will look at me and speak. Because usually when these people teach, they'll take one person as a reference point. Usually the reference point will not be the brilliant one. You see, so when the teacher keeps looking at you, don't think, wow, he's teaching me. That means what? Another level. That's why I keep looking at all of you. All same level only, no big difference. And sometimes I look at myself also. No big difference. So it's to sit there and listen to him. Then I used to walk along with him till he would take a bus and go. Many times I would ask him. I'll drop you by cycle. I was just having a bicycle with me. That's all. He said, cycle over. No, we'll just walk. And I used to walk along with him. Just a joy of spending time with some knowledgeable people. So he's going there, coming back, going, coming. There's about 1 month that was one full month, Margadi Masam. Full Margadi, he was doing that lecture series. So one day, as we were chatting, it was just casually, I was just mentioning. We've been meeting, few other people also. Just casually, we're just seeing. Not that, not like seeker or anything. Just, interested. That's about it. Just to know what is going on and all that. That's about it. Not that, some mumukshatva illa. Don't imagine like that. Just an interest. So I just telling him, met this person also. He was telling something different from what he was teaching, and what is this, and what is that, gopis, dancing around, Krishna. What is that? What is this? He was explaining there, but then he was asking something like that. I'll go on asking something or the other to chat and go. One day he was telling me casually. He was just mentioned. Never ever think that you are close to me. Don't think. Anyone you go to, remember, if you believe that you are close, your growth is gone. You will not learn anything from the teacher after that. Never believe you are close to the teacher. The teacher will be close to you. But you should never believe that. Never have that. He was telling me, this pride in I remember. The biggest ego, enga theriyuma, he said. I am close to the teacher. I have a special relationship with my guru. Uh, Better luck next time. Clearly, he said, you are telling me, yeah, Mata ego is very easy to handle. He's telling you. But all other achievements and things, because it is not possible for you to get closer to a teacher. It's not possible. They will not allow. No teacher worth, no master will allow that. If you get a chance to be closer, it's such a big achievement actually. You know, he remembers and he thinks and is there. It's something extraordinary because all worldly things are very easy. Even to have that thing is not easy. So he was telling, when you go closer, he was telling that was taught to him by his guru, who is a Jagat Guru. Yes, he was telling him, it seems. So he was telling me that. He was telling me because they were very close. When he has certain clarifications in some doubts and all that, he would send a word to this man. He would call him. Call that man. He will be the one to explain. When he gets a doubt, you can imagine what is this man. And casually we were walking. Like, what a joy, I tell you. It's to be with such, learned people. Amazing there. Yes, the pride that we experience in life is such that there's nothing unique that you have achieved. The spiritual achievements are the most unique one you can ever have in life. It's fresh. Everyone who realizes it afresh. It's not the same Brahman, but that same Brahman is not. It's like a very, very poor comparison, but then there's no other way I can explain. Sunrise happens every day, right? But every day it is new. You know that? You can never recreate that same sunrise. It's not possible. And sun has been rising for how many years? Huh? Every day it is new. You can never recreate that, the pattern, the light. It's the same thing. Same 7 Vibhyoric colors only, and that same color only will come. Suddenly one day it is not going to come green. No. It's the same orange, yellow. That's it. In that it has so much. This, the pride that you can have in spiritual is the highest. That's why first thing he says is amanitva. The first quality he gave of a jnani. Amanitva. Adambitva. Damba. These two enough, actually. Beautiful quality. Yes. Nirman. Moha is another classic one. This moha, delusion. Delusion means the false value that we give to the world. It's called delusion. It's not a zero value, nor an exaggerated value. You can't you can't say the world has zero value. There's no value. Sir, money is nothing, sir. Then transfer all that to my account. No. For you, money is nothing. For me, money is everything. This is my bank account. After that, the fellow never came back. He dropped to class only. You're a dangerous fellow. Oh, it's not that it has no value, nor can you have an exaggerated value. These two things is called moha. Saying money means nothing, deluded. Money is everything, deluded. Then what is knowledge now? What money can do and what money cannot do. that clarity. That's what he says. Nirmana Moha, the one who is free from pride and delusion, which means he doesn't have any false ideas with reference to the world. It's not an aviveki. That's what it means. Meaning it doesn't give any black market value, it says. It doesn't give a black market value to the world. It just gives what's the value, that's the value. Nothing more than that. Jita Sangadosha. Dosha, evils. Sangadosha, evils of attachment. Jita means the one who has conquered. Conquering. Conquering what? Conquering the evils arising from attachment. The evil of attachment. You have conquered the disease means what? Not just the symptoms. Isn't it? You have conquered the virus. The virus that has caused the disease should be conquered. Only then you can say you have really conquered it. And the very fact that he is using the word conquering, implication is what? Conquering is the effect. What should have happened before that? Fight, exactly, correct. Fight. Without fight, how can there be a conquering? Huh? British conquered India. There was a conflict. There is a fight. Fight means what? There is someone who is forcing something and someone who is resisting it, and there is a tussle between two, and then this happens. Conquering happens. That's what he says. Jita Sangha Dosha means the Sangha will not allow you. You have to fight. You have to actually fight with it. Sangha Dosha. Sangha Dosha, na, this. Oh. Evils of the defects. The defect of attachment. The lacuna of the tendency to get attached. That's what it means. It's not just, conquering the effects of attachment, please. Effect of attachment is what? Friction, fight, all this. This is called agitations. All that is called effects of attachment. Now he says this is only symptoms, remember. He's not asking you to conquer the symptom. He's asking you to conquer the very root. The root is Sangha Dosha. Sangha, the attachment. So what is this attachment? From where the attachment comes? The source. I am there, you are there, and then I get attached to you. Right? What is the dosha there? Okay, what is the defect there? What is wrong with that? Not according to Krishna, it is wrong, please. We think, Vedanta is against. No, Vedanta is neither for nor against. You see, it's neither for or against. That's why in Mahabharata you will find Krishna equally related to Kauravas and Pandavas. He's equally related. He's not taking any sides. He doesn't take side. See? But then, how they relate, he responds. So he doesn't have any. So it's not that, you should not have any. Yes, it's not that they are against. The problem is there is an inherent defect that we carry with this. What is that? Essentially, you believe I am there, you are there. Correct. The moment I say we are two of us are there, the presence of the other is called hell. See, when you say hell, we have very weird notion of hell. The scriptures define hell in a different patterns. One of the way they described the description of hell, hell is you are put in a room, right, along with one more person of your choice, right? The fellow says, "I want my girlfriend." She'll be there with you, and whatever you want will appear. If you say that I want to watch, IPL match, immediately TV will come, telecast, no buffering and all. And then suddenly you say, boring, sir. I want, Netflix series I want to watch. Netflix series will come. And then suddenly you say, I want to have with pizza, double cheese pizza. It will come. But only one condition. You can eat also. Okay, it's not that it will come, but you should not eat. You can eat. Only thing is, 24/7 that lady will be with you. Because there's no next room also. He's going to be sitting next to you for first 2 days. It is what? Heavenly. Right. After that, now you can't talk to anyone else also. Okay. You can't say, I want to call that person and speak. You can speak to the, you can call, your mother and say, I want to talk to her and all that. But this lady will be sitting next to you. You call your friend and speak to your friend. You can speak to your friend, but she will be sitting next to you. And if she wants to do also, you will be sitting all the time. It's not only this side, please. Right? Other side also. After 1 week, like this, you have to live for ever. You will go mad. And the tragedy is what? You can't die also. Why? You are already dead. Once after a point, I get so frustrated, let me commit suicide and die. That is also not possible. Why? You are dead already. Amazing description of hell. Yes. That is called hell. They were in hell. Wherever the other comes into picture, hell, finished. You can't escape. That's why in Mahabharata, this Pandavas went to the forest, forest. For 12 years they were living in forest. Where they were living? Say they were living in Dvaitavana. That forest is called Dvaitavana. Dvaitavana means what? Two. The moment you say two means what? Hell. How subtly they're indicating how they were living that 12 years now. They were not living like Rama and Sita. Rama, Sita also lived in the forest. Enjoying their life like anything. Best period. Extended honeymoon only for them actually. It's like fantastic one, they were provided with. But that wasn't the case for these guys. How they were living. Living in hell. Why? The other. Wherever the other is, the presence of the other is called hell. And in attachment, what are you trying? That object has a natural tendency to leave. But because of your attachment, what are you doing? Pulling it and keeping it in your presence. What are you asking for? Every time you get attached, what are you asking for actually?
Position.
You are asking for hell. You believe the presence of the person is going to be heavenly, but the very fact that the other is going to be with you all the time is the hell. We don't realize it. That's called dosha, defect. The defect of sangha is what? It's not that a man of perfection will never relate to anybody. It's not he's not going to have any association, no meetings, nobody he's going to talk to. It's not like that, please. That sangha dosha will not be there. What is that dosha? Dosha is converting the presence of the other a hell. Instead, he converts the presence of the other as heavenly. How? Because there is no duality. Like Ramtirtha gives a beautiful story. Story of a prince and his dog, his pet dog. The prince has a tendency, he enjoys, dressing up himself. Every day after dressing, he will go into a room, and he will never allow the dog to come along with him. He'll keep the dog out, and he'll go into the room and come. The dog doesn't know what he's doing inside the room and all that. He just goes into the room and comes out. One day, by mistake, he didn't close the door properly. See, he just didn't lock it. And the dog is searching for its master. The way it will search is always by, smelling. They sniff and wherever they go, it will also go all those places. So by mistake, it entered the room. Suddenly, the dog realized the room was full of dogs. Outside, only this fellow was thinking, I am the only pet dog this master has. Now, when it entered the room, it realized that there are so many dogs. And the moment this dog sees another dog, what they will do? They'll have a territory, That's why you will find, this dog, the street dogs, They'll chase the other dog the moment they enter their territory. The moment that dog exits the territory, they'll come back. Will go. And then he'll come back. This guy will never cross that road. That's the border they have. The fellow thought, I am the only one in my territory. There are so many dogs. So what did he do? He started barking. The moment he started barking, all the dogs started. He got so annoyed. You bark at me in my place, I attack you. It pounced on them. All the dogs pounced on this dog. Unfortunately, that's a soundproof room. And the moment he entered, automatic lock, it got locked. The fellow barked and pounced on them. I started bleeding. It got cut here, got cut there. It bled to death. And the prince is unaware of the whole thing. Right. After he finishes all his, regular routine works and all that, suddenly he realized, where is my dog? And the ministers, they said, we don't know. Nowhere to be found. They said, check it out. They're checking, nowhere to be found. Next day, the fellow goes and opens the door. Dog's body only sees. A stupid fellow. Why did you enter this room, man? Why? That room was a room of mirrors. So every day what this fellow was doing was, he dresses himself up. He goes to the room and sees himself in all the mirrors, surrounded by how he looks in different angles. Like we say certain heroines, oh, she's such a beautiful one. In long shot, she will look amazing. close up லாம் பார்க்க முடியும் சைக்காது. No, you can't say that is. No. You should look nice in all sides. You can't say that one angle looks nice, other angle looks bad. No. Doesn't make sense. It's not beauty. So he wants to ensure every dress this. When he enters the room, there are how many princes? So many princes around. He was not fighting with them. When the dog entered, what happened? He started seeing all the other dogs as different. Adan dosha. That aviveka. That ignorance is the dosha. That's why he concludes that by saying, this undiluted fellow, Muda, this Muda, Daddi, he say, brainless fellows. He is not like that. He has escaped from that one. Sangha dosha. He doesn't have that Sangha dosha. See, he is only stating, okay, now when we are going to work it out, we have to work it out consciously. The Sangha dosha will not go by itself for us. We have to consciously work on that Sangha dosha. You have to consciously work on how to get rid of the pride. Consciously, you have to work on how to get rid of that moha. We have to do it consciously. For him, it is effortless. Effortlessly, they drop. Yes. Sangha dosha. Adhyatma nitya. Ever rooted in the self. Ever rooted in the self, no, not that you are constantly saying aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi and all that, please. It's like having the note, the shruti going in the background. In the Puranas, they give beautiful stories actually. So one day Narada got a doubt. Who is the greatest devotee of Vishnu? And obviously he believed, he is the greatest one. He is number one, But then he had a debate and discussion with, the devotee of Shiva. Agastya is supposed to be the greatest devotee of Shiva. Right? So this Agastya and Narada, they meet. And Narada says, no, I accept that you are the greatest devotee of Shiva. Similarly, you also should agree that I am the greatest of devotee of Vishnu. That's called, social etiquette, no? Like, that's what we do, no? In meet, when you have this party and all that. What do you do in the party? What do we do? Any conversation you listen to, two people talking, it's amazing. I speak to establish how brilliant I am, how good I am, how great I am. You should listen. And then you will speak how great you are, how good you are, how brilliant you are. I will listen. If that happens, we had a wonderful conversation. That's why after 4 pegs only you can have good conversation. You think that? Not having that peg, you can never have a good conversation. Only drunkards can have conversation. We have wonderful time we had. What is a wonderful time? You spoke how great you are. He listened. And he spoke how great he is. And you listen. And where do we say, we get annoyed? When you speak how great you are, I listen. When I start speaking, you say, okay, bye, go. Finished. You see, it's amazing to see people that speak. Same way, Narada thought Agastya also will behave. Agastya said, you are correct, 50% you are right. He said, what? I am the greatest devotee of Shiva, that is correct. But you are not the greatest devotee of Vishnu. He got so annoyed. He said, how dare you say that? I don't read certificates from you. I will take that certificate from Narayana himself. So straight he went to Vaikuntha. And he told, Vishnu there. He's sleeping, he goes and disturbs his sleep. He said, wake up. What? This Agastya says, I am not the greatest devotee of yours, it seems. Vishnu didn't say anything because it's a problem. He says something. No. Why suddenly the discussion? Forget about all that. Okay. This is the problem now. Solve that first. So I need a certificate from you that you have acknowledged that I am your devotee number one. So, yeah, that's not a problem. I can give a certificate. I will give such certificates to anybody who comes, Free distribution of certificates. Like people ask me, do you give certificate? I say, I will give, but who will value? You attend Vedanta class, I'll give certificate to you, but who is going to value that? Nobody is going to value that. What is the point? So like that, Vishnu says, I'll give, what's the problem? Say, from the way he spoke itself, Narada understood. There is some pun he's, having. Say, tell me the fact. Say, I want to know the truth. Say, you are a great devotee, no doubt about it, but you are not number one, you are number two. Say, what? Number two. So he got so curious. Now, who is number one then? Number one, not easy to meet. You can meet me, that's easy, but number one meeting not possible. No, I have to. You should never go in front of him, okay? I will also come along with you. And we will take this Agastya also with us. He said, I'll take him also. We have to establish. 3 of them go. Where? They go to one village. Some remote village, they go. And one farmer was there. A fellow sleeping. He says, he's living in this house? He said, yes. Who? You see that fellow sleeping? That's a fellow. You mean he is the greatest? I said, shut up. Don't talk. Listen. And the fellow wakes up. As soon as he wakes up, first thing he says, Narayana. He says, wow, great. Stupid. Next word. And then all sorts of words come, If people ask me, why don't you take class in Tamil? One problem I have is, if I start speaking Tamil, words of this flow, free flow of vocabulary they have. English, I don't have that much of strength in vocabulary. There. Like that, your fellow speaking, what is this, what is that? And he was fighting with this fellow, killing that fellow. And he's hitting that guy and hitting this fellow. He goes to his wife and he is scolding at her, and his mother is coming and fighting, daughter-in-law fight, mother-in-law fight, neighbor fight. Brother comes with this problem, that problem, and all these things. Whole day, nothing. All that fellow was doing is only that. Right? In the night, when he is going to sleep, again, after that, Narayana says, and he goes to sleep. See, Narada couldn't take it. He said, look here. Whole day I am doing japa. Narayana, 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 Narayana is doing. Right? This fellow said twice, Narayana, you say he is the greatest devotee. And Vishnu didn't know what to say. He looked at Agastya. He said, you handle man. You fellows, I don't know what to do with this guy. You handle him. He said, Agastya said, don't worry. That's not a big answer. It's a very simple question you're asking. But remember, any question you ask, you should be qualified to receive the answer. No? You should be ready to listen to the answer, without which you should not ask question. The one, dialogue I really liked in this movie, Pardes, is that. You know, Pardes, have you seen that movie, Pardes? Shah Rukh Khan. This Amrish Puri would ask a question to Shah Rukh Khan. One of the scenes, he would ask, explain that to me. He knows the whole story. Okay, this fellow doesn't know the backdrop. So to which he gives a reply. Beautifully, he says, you're asking a question, but check whether are you ready to take the answer. If you're not ready to take the answer, don't ask, he says. The questions you should not ask. This beautiful dialogue. Yes. To the same way, Avicii says, you're asking question correct. But if you want answer, you should be ready, you should be qualified. Oh, he says, am I not qualified? He said, yes, I will give you a test. If you pass the test, I'll give you. What? He took one katori. Small katori they give, no? Katori. Full katori, a bowl. Oil. Organic only. Organic oil. He gave. Take this oil, it should not spill. Go around the temple and come back. In a test, do no. Here goes round and comes back. See, not a drop spilled. I asked him, when you are walking around, it took about half an hour to finish. In this half an hour, how many times you said Narayana? Narada said Narayana. I forgot. Such a small thing to carry itself, you forgot Narayana. This guy is carrying the entire samsara, repeating twice. Now you tell me who is a great devotee? I said, yeah, you're right. He is a great devotee only there. It's not remembering, please. It's not that, we think, every time I have to keep saying Narayana, 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 Narayana. It doesn't happen that way, please. So it's a full-time awareness. That's all it is. It's like the Shruti. It's not that you're consciously going to remember it. Now, many of us think, I should consciously remember. It's not a conscious remembrance, please. But the sound is never missed. Which I say, how many times you have consciously repeated that I am the body in your life? Have you ever said that? Japa. I am the body, I am the body, I am the body, I am the body, I am the body. Have you ever said that? Never you have said that. But you know you are the body, no? Same way. You don't have to say, I am the self, I am the self, I am the self. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. You don't have to say all that. You will know that you are Brahman, full stop. That's what he means by this Adhyatma Nityam. This constancy, ever rooted in the self. Vinivritta Kama, another beautiful one. Kama means desires. Nivritta Kama means vanished, disappeared, lost. Lost. Desires, that is lost, vanished. Vinivritta Kama means that's what is important here. That's why these words are very important. Nivritta itself means what? Gone. Lost. So, Nivritta Kama itself means he has dropped all his desires. But why he is qualifying it as with this V? He prefixes that V. That we is the one which says that completely. The desires are lost. But the loss of a desire is not complete in us. In his case, it's complete. Completely lost. In our case, also desires gets lost, as it were. Most of the time, it is never lost. It is just pushed under the carpet. Or sometimes it just gets replaced. That's all happens. Either it is pushed under the carpet or it is replaced. This is not there. Now, new one has come. It's like you sell the old car and buy a new car. Now you are attached to which car now? New one. What happened to the old attachment? That is gone, no? Imagine now you see your own old car. You see on the road. Met with accident. What is going to happen to you? Nothing happens to you. Why? That is gone. But then your attachment is not gone. No, same way. That the desires that we carry. What desire? Certain desires drop off. But then, have they gone completely? The desiring tendency is there. That particular desire may not be there. You see, that particular desire you don't have. But the potential for you to develop a desire is still there. That's what he is referring here. Nivritta kama means particular desire dropped. Right? Kama. One desire dropped. Two desire dropped. Three desire dropped. Of all the desires, you had about 15 desires, let's say. Out of that 15 desires, you have started working. What has happened, sir, now? Out of that 15 desires, now 3 desires are gone. So now my total is what? Only 12. Says that's not growth. That's not the way to analyze growth. Why? Because you still carry the potential to develop more desires. So dropping desire is not the point. Dropping what? Dropping the capacity in you, the tendency in you to desire. So work on that first. Don't work on the individual desires. Most of the time what we do is we work with reference to a particular weakness. See, I have a particular weakness. I have a weakness for eating. So what I'm going to do now? I have a weakness for talking. I have weakness for sightseeing. I have a weakness for this. I have weakness. Each one will claim that we have one weakness. Now, every time you think of growth, your first reference point is going to be what? Anti to that. If I have a weakness for eating, according to me, growth will be what? There should be a point in my life where I don't carry this craving for eating. I will not have the weakness for eating. I will not have the weakness for seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, thinking, whatever. That anti is what we take as growth. The moment you move towards the opposite direction, we believe we are this. That's why immediately he comes to the next point. No dvandvas, says. No opposites. See, beautiful constructions there. Vinivritta kama. Kama itself generally means what? Kama you can have. Attachment is towards the things that you are already having. It's called the sangha, attachment. Kama is towards the things that you are not having. There are so many things in life which you don't have right now. It can be anything. Wealth, name, fame, power, position, status, family, relationship, respect, whatever. Whatever you are not having right now, you will desire that. Towards whatever you have, you get attached. So essentially, he says he doesn't carry any attachment to whatever is there, nor he has a craving for whatever is not there. Vinivritta kama. Dvandve vimukta. Liberated. Vimukta means completely liberated. Completely liberated from the pairs of opposites. Such as, he gives example. One example he gives, such as sukha, dukkha. There's no this opposites they have of this sukha and dukkha. One example of pairs of opposite. Such undiluted reach that eternal goal. Such undiluted person reaches that eternal goal. Avyayam. Padam. Another beautiful word. Padam. Padam means, abode, a place. Mark this word. Right. I'll explain it in the next class. Because the next verse, he gives one, which is connected to this. That word pada. So the one who is free from pride and delusion, the one who is free from this evils of attachment, has conquered these evils of attachment, ever rooted in the self, those with desires completely gone, and well liberated from the pairs of opposites such as joy and sorrow. Such this undiluted person reaches the supreme abode, supreme goal. We'll see you in the next class.